My name is Jack Karolewski, and I'd like to do a series of 12 different recollections of famous events in history. So I'd like to call this series Jack Karolewski Remembers. Today will be part one. Part one will deal with my memories of the John F. Kennedy assassination, November 22nd, 1963. I was in 7th grade living in Chicago, and I attended a Catholic school called St. Bride's School. In those days, most kids went home for lunch because the mothers didn't work. So I went home on my bicycle and came back to school about a quarter to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The lunch hour was from 12 until 1. When I arrived and put my bicycle away, some of my friends came up to me and said, "Have you heard Kennedy's been shot?" And my immediate thoughts were, because I was in 7th grade, there was an 8th grade student whose last name was Kennedy. And I thought, who would want to assassinate or shoot one of the students? And my friend said, no, not him. The President Kennedy's been shot. So I thought, oh my God. And shortly thereafter, instead of waiting until 1 o'clock for us to assemble and go back into the classrooms for our afternoon lessons, all the nuns had everybody line up early, and they blew the whistle. And we went up in sort of stunned silence, and we went into our classrooms. And the nun that was my main homeroom teacher said we all need to get down on our knees next to our desks and pray that the president lives. Because Kennedy was not only our president, but he was also the first Catholic president, so he was a pretty big deal there. So I remember we immediately knelt down and prayed for about 5 minutes, Our Fathers and Hail Marys. And then around 1 o'clock on the PA system, the principal, Mother Thaddeus, came on and said, I have some terrible news to share with you. President Kennedy has died. We just got notice on it on the radio. And we want everybody to be dismissed and go directly home. And so, needless to say, the kids were very frightened. And I remember going home and meeting my younger sister was there, and then my older sister also came home from Aquinas High School. And my mother, of course, was still there, and we had the television on. And my first thought, because we had worried about the Cold War and about the Russians attacking us, but my very first thought was that we were all going to die, and that President Kennedy had been shot, and then the Russians were going to send nuclear missiles over the United States and attack us while we were in a weakened condition, and all of us were going to die. So it was a very, very strange time, and obviously there was no foreign intervention there. But the next few days, I remember they had the Kennedy funeral on television. All the channels were on there, and we were watching it. And then on Sunday, they were moving the assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, in Texas and Dallas from one jail cell to another. And I saw on TV live Jack Ruby shoot and kill the alleged assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald. So that was very strange to see that shooting live on television. And then, of course, Lee Harvey Oswald was sent to the same hospital as Kennedy was, and I even believe he was in the same operating room, and he himself died from wounds in the abdomen. So it was a very strange several days there in U.S. history, and I have a very strong memory of that. I also saved the newspaper, the Chicago Tribune. He had the picture of Kennedy with a black rectangle around his photo, and then the new president, Lyndon Baines Johnson, his vice president had been sworn in. So I still have that original newspaper. It's in a plastic bag in my archives in the garage here in Davis, California. So this ends part one of my memories of famous events in history.